Hey everyone, how's it going? I am Nathan, and I'm one of the co-founders of GitHits. And yeah, so what is GitHits? So GitHits is the open source code context layer for your coding agent. So what do I mean by that? So coding agents have gone very good at working with the code bases they can see and they can interact with and they can grep, glob, read over. But modern enterprise software, our code is a little layer on top of a mountain of open source code, a mountain of SDKs and integrations. So a lot of the code we're actually integrating with lives outside the code base. And that's where GitHits comes in. We have an index of all open source code, anything on GitHub, and then we currently support 10 different registries. And our search index not only works against all those different registries, but it's also version aware. So GitHub search only works against the latest version. If you need to find something about an older version, like you're pinned to, you're gonna have to clone it. So yeah, I'm gonna go straight into a demo and just show you guys what it actually looks like. And I'm gonna be talking about two different primitives. So the way we integrate with your coding agents, we do that via a CLI, and it's a hybrid CLI, so oops. So the way it works is you can hit the different commands directly through the API. And when I say it's a hybrid, because when you run our setup command, which is over here, so npx githits at latest init, that will let you sign up so you can create an account from that command. It will configure your coding agent with, it'll configure 10 different coding agents for you automatically. And the way that those will work is they will run an MCP server over stdio. And we have two primitives. So the first is code example, the second is code navigation. So I'm gonna show you an example, the code examples first, using open code. And so the way that code examples work are this is for when you have a general question. So you wanna know what's a good library, what's a good approach. So what our agent does, it goes out, it finds a lot of high quality sources, it evaluates how stable that branch is, who's contributing to it, and then it gives you a single canonical example with all of the references cited. So I'm gonna switch to, let's go to models. Let's go to Opus 4.7. Oops. So here I'm just asking, I wanna render a 3D place using TypeScript. So I'm using GitHits code examples. And just to show you what it looks like in our web app while it's running, you can actually see the search history. So we have a chat interface if you wanna use that. Our primary use case is with agents. But you can see your actual MCP calls here, all of the sources that are referenced, and then the actual canonical example. So while that's loading, I'm actually gonna open another open code session to show you what we just launched today, actually. We opened it up for everyone, which is code navigation. So we now are giving your agent the ability to grep, glob, and read any version of any repo you find on GitHub. These are the 10 registries we currently support, so pretty much any of the registries you would want to use are supported in there. We can see it's responding now. It gave us, one canonical example. It's a working code example, cites its references. So this is usually during the exploratory phase. We also have all of the license information, so you can define which licenses you want to exclude from your search. But let's go to code examples, or navigation. So this was a pretty cool example. I wanna know how open code handles compaction. So let's go to models, let's go to 4.7, I'm gonna split pane. So I'm gonna show what it's like with and without GitHits. And one of the biggest advantages we've seen, so there's a huge knowledge gap of the agents don't necessarily have a lot of this knowledge of code, but one of the best advantages we've seen is token savings. And the way that we do that is we always start with the planning phase and we tell the agent all of the different libraries we wanna work with and to use GitHits to give the exact code definitions, the exact lines of any code you're gonna reference while it's executing the plan. And sometimes there's more tokens up front, but the difference is when the agent actually needs to execute on the coding task, it's not doing web searches, it's not looking at these erroneous sources, it's not hallucinating APIs. It has the actual definitions already for it. So let's get these going. All right, Opus, I'm gonna change model here. All right, need to get the same model, so this is fair playing field. All right. So same exact prompt. I just told it to use GitHits. And so as we can see here, without GitHits, it's spun up a sub agent and it's grepping, oops, sorry. Hello, I need to disable the MCP real fast. Let me try that again. All right, so let's disable the MCPs first. All right. Great, those are off. All right. So we can see GitHits got back pretty fast. It did a search, it did a code read, it actually pulled the lines, and then here it gave us a pretty detailed response about the compaction mechanism. And what's pretty notable too is it gives the exact definitions, it gives you lines of code. So basically when this is baked in your plan as the agent executes, it's very efficient moving forward. Here we can see that without GitHits, it looks like it's spinning up a sub agent. Let's see. Yep. Let's see, cool. So now what I'm gonna look at is I wanna show you guys, let's look at the token usage of that quick experiment. All right. Here we go. So we got that. We had a sub agent, and then this was with GitHits. Let's make sure. Okay, yeah. Oh, I don't know if it found it. Let's see. Oh yeah, no, so it actually didn't get it. So this got the example exactly. What's funny is earlier, Claude did get it because it grepped my local system. Here it didn't actually get it. So we spent 2,000 output tokens, which output tokens are really what you need to care about. But if I go to this older example where I ran it, I think it was something like it used about 10,000 tokens grepping locally versus it takes about 1,200 tokens actually doing real-time search. So another example we can run here, this one's even harder. So I'm asking how superset, which I'm currently using, how it treats hierarchy of config files, which you can have multiple configs. All right, let's see. All right, let's see if it gets it without GitHits. And so these are harder examples, but as you can imagine, when you're working on any of your standard programming tasks, so much of your code is interfacing with outside code. And so, it's essential that the models can actually see the real code they're working with. All right. All right, so that one spun up a sub-agent again. If we look, it's probably exploring locally. Yep. Okay. Here we can see it's doing a search against the repo. So that grep glob read loop you're very familiar with your agent doing, you can now do that in real time for any open source code that exists. Cool, it's already got the answer. Okay, so this is really funny because earlier it was just grepping my system, but here it's saying I can't find this. From there, it looks like it found a markdown file with some information, but once again, here we have the actual answer. We have references to the code, so right there we can see line 81. So on long-running task, I'll show a cool example of, we did a longer-running task building a Rust MCP server. Yep, here we go. And you can really see the benefits over the time. So we make the plan, we add all the detail in the plan, and then we have the agent execute it. And we see a huge difference when you have a high-quality plan which has all to the details. So this was using Codex, GPT-5.4, this was running Codex. Here is where this one was using GitHits, so 36,000 output tokens versus 46,000 output tokens. And the reason I'm talking about output tokens are billed at 4 to 6 times the cost of input tokens, so that's really the primary number, which we even had more context tokens as well. And a quick shout out about this tool, so I'm actually using ChooChoo. It's a really great observability tool for all of your different coding agents, and what's really funny is this arena comparison I'm showing. This feature did not exist yesterday. I was talking with Alex, who's the founder of ChooChoo, and I was telling him how I use it to analyze token comparison. And so he shipped that feature overnight. So if you want a platform to analyze how your agents are using tokens, ChooChoo's really great. So the next steps really are, we would love for you all to use this. So actually today we just went from private beta to beta. So anyone can sign up, it's free. And there's 2 ways you can sign up. So you can simply sign up running this command in your terminal. It will walk you through the setup flow, you're good to go, or you can go through our website. We'd love to hear how it works for you, hammer it. And for anyone who signs up in the next 24 hours, when we do introduce our pricing, we're gonna give you all 3 months free of the basic plan. So sign up in the next 24 hours, hammer it. Also, like I said, these are the registries we support. So the way that you might encounter the experience or the index is if you hit a registry or a repository that hasn't been indexed yet, it might take like 5 to 12 seconds, but that's actually building the index. So once the index is built, you're good to go. So we would love you all to hammer it, see what you find, and we'd love to hear how it works for you. And I'll leave this up so you can install.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Nathan. We have time for 2 questions. There's one hand up there. Do we have one more so I know where to run next?
Thanks for the really cool demo. I have a couple of questions. One is around the actual mechanics. Does it rely on ASTs or some model behind the scene? Second question is, does it, you showed the scenario where it was searching for examples, code examples. So does it distinguish business logic versus the coding patterns itself? So you're looking for a certain kind of coding pattern example, so you could find examples about those coding patterns versus different business logic.
Yep, so 2 different things. So with the code index, it's our own index which we're building out. It is the actual code of every single version. So when it's grepping and globbing, it's returning the actual code definitions, lines of code. You can search the docs, but that's the main source of truth. And then in terms of the code intelligence, the reason I split it into 2 primitives is the code examples, that takes into account the business rules. We look at the semantics of it. And right now that's largely going off of GitHub, but the index we just opened up this morning. And that you have to specify the library. So that is specific to the library. Once you know the library, it can do search grep within there. But the code examples will be getting cut over to that. So if you all are using it, you'll be seeing a lot of updates over the next few months. So it will be, the business rules will be implemented as well, or searchable.
Do we have one more question?
So right now, there's quite a few companies that focus on indexing your own code base. So right now, we're pretty much focused on open source code. So that's kind of our differentiator. But it is something we're always happy to talk about because it is, the way that we see our company moving forward is we're building an index for agents to consume code. So the demo I was showing was examples of how it might be used, but at the end of the day, it's really your agent that's going to be using this. And so we want to build the best code search for agents, and we thought this would be a good place to start, but in the future it may be, if there's a demand from customers, then we could explore indexing proprietary code bases.
Excellent. Thank you, Nathan.